conscious of that. We are broadcasting. Going over to.
Screaming expletives.
Oh God! Don't do that.
Uh-oh.
Don't do that. That would be. I would be sad. It's episode 3. Come on. Okay. There is episode 4. Episode 3. Come on. Okay, Opie, start speaking. 4.
Good morning, I'm Opie.
Okay, Opie, start speaking. 4.
Good morning, I'm Opie.
All right, you sound good to me.
Alright, awesome.
All right, that's a good check. Let's go ahead and end the broadcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the VEF. Welcome to the best talk series in Fallout 76, where we bring in guests from all over the wasteland so you don't have to. This is The Best There Is with your host, D-Man Carmel, the best there is.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to The Best There Is. I'm your host, D-Man Caramel, the best there is. Your number one show for all things to keep you surviving the wasteland. We got a great show coming up for you today. Today, with our special guest, Opie. Opie, go ahead and say hello to everyone at home.
Hello, everybody. I'm Opie.
Awesome. Thank you for coming into the show today, Opie.
I'm glad to be here, boss man. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So, Opie, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself? What is it that you do? What is your role in the VEF? What do you do?
So, in short, a battalion officer is a key role for every battalion. They are essentially the hype man of a battalion, and my job is to make sure they are doing their tasks, which are they keep updated member roster, checking in on every member, keeping a tab on each initiate, and making sure they complete their tasks, and hosting social events.
I love it. I love it. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your backstory? How did you get started in Fallout 76? What was your experience with RP before you got into this group? What did that exactly look like for you?
All right, boss man. So I didn't really have a whole lot of roleplay experience. Actually, none, in fact. So I started out playing Fallout because me and my fiance was watching Fallout the TV series, and she asked why I didn't play the game. I play all the game except 76, so I was like, you know what? I'll give 76 a try. Me and a buddy, we was playing, I was drinking, and then I see this group of people just doing a patrol. And let's just say I was drunk, I was in a party chat, and I stumbled in on the patrol, and at the end of the patrol, they messaged me and asked me if I wanted to join. And I was like, heck yeah.
And I think while we were talking earlier, you kind of described that as like a drunken conga line. And you kind of just drunkenly conga lined into your role into the VEF. That's great, man.
Well, what can I say? I like my alcohol.
Now, how exactly did you get the name Opie the Giant? Obviously, when I hear that name, my mind automatically goes over towards Sons of Anarchy, right? So, is there a correlation there? Where did the name Opie the Giant come from?
Alright, so I was riding my Road King special to work, and I always wore a beanie. And my coworkers saw me, and they was like, hey, you look like Opie. And then, that's kind of where the Opie nickname came from. And I usually connect with my coworkers by playing video games such as Call of Duty. One day we was playing Call of Duty and they told me I need to change my name to Opie because they couldn't. They hated my old in-game name, which was my initials. So I was like, okay, I'm changing my name. So Opie was taken, and then they was like, well, you're super tall, you're 6'8", so why not put the giant in it, right? So that's kind of where my name came from, Opie the Giant.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier too, and you were telling me that you are very tall, over 6 foot. Wow, I am super jealous. I can't tell you, man. Super jealous of that. Turning real quick over to our chat, we got some live chats from people. B8 sends you a smiley face. Who's Hungry says, hello, hello. VEF channel itself says, Opie is the best senior battalion officer in the VEF. Any responses to any of that?
Well, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I'm also the only senior battalion officer in the VEF.
Hey, man, that sounds like a plus to me. It sounds like a win. The best kind of win
Can't
is by
complain.
default. Absolutely. So let's change over a little bit. Let's focus a little bit more on, what exactly is an operation, what is the operation division, right? So can you go over with me if the operation division is actually recruiting battalion officers? I believe that you said that you guys were potentially looking for some, correct?
Yes, sir. We are definitely currently looking for some battalion officers to fill certain roles in a battalion. So, uh, just to say it out loud, right? You got battalion officers. They're both a battalion role and an operations role. So they're not just an operation division role. They are also a key figure in the battalion.
Awesome. Okay, so then, what if I am interested in becoming a battalion officer? Like, what benefits would you say that there are to becoming a battalion officer? I believe that before we were kind of talking about how it's a key role, that there's remote work, and that you kind of like become the hype man for the VEF in your battalion, correct? Can you kind of expand on that?
Yes, sir. So as far as key role, remote work, and being a hype man in the battalion for a battalion officer, right, it is a very um, intriguing role in my perspective because it allows me to work all the hours I work in real life and still be able to contribute to the VEF, not just one like not just do patrols, but do like social events. But my mind just went blank.
No, you're good. So yeah, so it sounds like social events is also something that we'll probably be discussing a little bit more about. So before switching over to exactly what social events are, what if I or someone in the VEF was really interested in trying to become um, a battalion officer? Like, what do you guys look for? Like, what should my first steps be to trying to fill that spot? What does that look like?
All right, so part of battalion officer, you have to first reach out to your battalion commander. It all starts within the battalion. You have to reach out to your battalion commander, and your battalion commander is going to be like, "This is what I want you to do. This is what I want to see more of." So the main things, right, is the battalion commander is going to want to see more activity. He's going to want to see you hyping up the battalions, reaching out to the initiates before he's going to consider you for that role because it is an officer role. It is a very important role in the vanguard of an expeditionary force. So it's just a really important role in the VEF.
No, absolutely. So can like say if I'm a hopeful, if I'm an initiate, is that a role that I can apply for?
No, sir. So you have to be a knight or a scribe in order to apply and for the position.
Got it. So you guys hear that at home? If you are hopeful or initiate, eventually one day you can be, but just not right now. You have to show a little bit more devotion. So if that's the case, right? What would you want people to specifically know about this role? I know before we were talking a little bit about how there's kind of an emphasis on laid backness. So could you expand a little bit about more what you do in real life and why this is such a perfect role for you and why it might be a perfect role for someone else?
Yes, sir, I sure can. So, as a lot of people know, I am a transmission power lineman. I work with hurricanes, snowstorms, anything to do with a power outage. So, I work long hours and a long time. I usually work between 12 and 14 hours a day. I'm usually gone from the house for 2 to 3 weeks. So, when I say it's remote work, you can do everything on your phone. You ain't got to be in game, and that's a key element for me. So if I know I'm not going to be able to be active as a knight or as a scribe, being in operations, being a battalion officer, it's not just operations. It is a battalion officer. So keep that in mind. You are more for your battalion than you will be in operations. But it is such a good thing for me. And when I say it's just one of the best roles I've ever taken on, it is far by the most laid back role I've ever had as a battalion officer. It's super easy, but at the same time, super fun.
And speaking about loving your role, you got a lot of love here in our chat. Let's go to this real quick. Message from Harry Carrington. I love Opie. Smiley face, heart, heart, heart. This one is from Proctor Unique, who says, tell Opie his mom said hi. and then just kidding, LOL. Then you have one from oh my gosh, La Boricua AZ Opie woohoo. And then right here from I think this is our director Green Jake. He says Opeasy in the Heezy. Great. That's fantastic. What else is going on here? Smiley face. Josephine K says, F that. I want to know why he's so damn awesome. Warlords, love you, Opie. Any responses back to any of the love there, Opie?
Well, trust me when I say I couldn't be here without all of y'all's love and support. And one thing I would like to say is each and every battalion that I work with, I just appreciate y'all's patience and understanding. And I'm glad to be able to help y'all and assist y'all, and hopefully one day find somebody that can fill in a little bit of the work that we do and become the next battalion officer for each battalion. And that will be a great start to another awesomeness.
I love it. So you guys hear that? If you guys are interested in really helping out the VEF, because they need you, we need you, we need your help. Reach out to Opie. Is should they reach out to you directly, or should they reach out to their battalion head people?
So the first thing first, right? Reach out to your battalion commander. Your battalion commander will reach out to me, or they will reach out to Unique, for example, somebody that's in operations. But definitely go to your commander first, because the battalion officer role falls in line with their battalion. It's literally the first name in the role, battalion role. So make sure you reach out to your battalion commander if you're interested in this role.
I love it. Now, let's shift gears here a little bit. Let's focus on talking about social events. Because social events is something that this role, that your role, is one of the only people in the group can actually do. So let's talk about, for social events, if you were to describe to someone who's not in the VEF, how would you describe what a social event is?
All right, so first thing first, I would like to say Operation Division are the main people, or they might even be the only people that can do social events. Your knights do patrols, your scribes do missions. Social events for a battalion officer usually starts off as a meet and greet. It's one of the fundamental ways for a battalion to meet with other hopefuls and other members and just meet and greet all the other people in the VEF. But there's other things you can do in a social event, such as Green Jake just recently did a movie night. That's considered a social event. Spock during Halloween, she did basically somebody dressed up as a witch, and they had pitchforks and they was burning on fire and they chased down the witch. I mean, your creativity is the only thing that will really shine during a social event, is your imagination on what to do, because you got hide and seeks, just so much possibility for social events. Me and Jake, for example, has got an event coming up first thing in the morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time, where we're doing a pre-drinking social event. It's basically where we're going to become alcoholics first thing in the morning before a parade, the Turkey Thanksgiving parade of the VEF.
I
Come
love it.
join us.
Man, and that's something that I do really appreciate about the VEF, is just how creative the people of the community here are. And so I would say that this role is probably really great for someone who wants to express that creativity. If you're super social, right? If you want to connect with people, you love connecting with people, you love being able to provide fun for. This is the type of role that's for you, correct?
Yes, sir, it is. I mean, it's such a wonderful role. It really is. I wish every battalion had a battalion officer so they can really help out their battalion. It's just a battalion officer does so much on the Discord side of things, that it really helps out our knights and our scribes be able to focus on their tasks, such as running patrols and doing their missions. It's just a really good thing to have in every battalion.
And then one of the requirements I believe you were saying before is that at least I believe it was once a week. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Battalion officer is supposed to provide a meet and greet event. Can you kind of explain what that is?
So yes, sir. It's once a month. I would like to see a battalion officer do a meet and greet. It's not required. It's just something I would like to see as the senior battalion officer. But to emphasize on meet and greets, it's basically a small social event where a few of the members of the battalion gather around and they meet with the other VEF members, such as the hopefuls. Like sometimes we do trivia nights for meet and greets, where like we do like just trivia nights. How many alcoholic beverages are in the game of Fallout 76, and just fun stuff like that. It's super fun. I highly suggest everybody go to a meet and greet if you see it, because 9 out of 10 times they're just an awesome event to be part of.
I love it. I love it. So once again, why don't we go ahead and before we wrap this out, promote uh, your events, the Thanksgiving pre-drinks. What do you want people to know about it? Once again, go over the time. Just go ahead and kind of promote it.
All right, so it's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and basically me, Grotty, Green Jake, and a few of us will be pretty much video chatting in Discord comms and us stuffing our face with shots. And we plan on participating in the turkey parade. But the only problem is we're probably going to be stumbling a lot during the parade, so y'all might have to definitely pick us up.
That's awesome. So yeah, so now let's go ahead and turn into our last section of the show, which is the Q&A sections where we've gathered your questions during the live interview that we had here with Opie. So let's go over our first one, which is from Elder Batman. How's it going, Elder Batman? Elder Batman asks, outside of your home battalion, which battalion has the coolest culture and backstory in your opinion?
So I absolutely love all battalions, but I will honestly say Immortalis has the coolest lore and backstory out of all battalions. So I've read up on every battalion, and like I will personally say Immortalis is my favorite one in terms of the way they worked around with the Skyline Valley and the Lost, and it's a very unique way of how a Paladin Commander Assassin put a lore on top of his more battalion.
That's awesome. So there you go. And then this next one here is from Elder Pilotov. Elder Pilotov writes, "Why that uniform?" And I think he's referring to the KD Inkwell.
So I was instructed by our first in command, which is unique and car. So in short, I was instructed that seniors and above could wear this uniform, just not the Intel hat.
Okay. There you go. So it's just part of a uniform.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Looks like we have one last question, unless anyone else wants to get in any more questions. This one is from Hopeful Jester. Hopeful Jester writes, "What would it take, and how long would it take to make Paladin, perhaps even Sentinel if possible?"
So that question is going to be more for somebody like General Streak or Elder Batman, not a battalion officer question. But I will say, as long as you keep up with dedication and activeness within the group, you are bound to achieve greatness. So you just stay and participate and help out as much as you can, and there's definitely going to be a position in the future for you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I do like to note that Elder Batman did respond back to that in the chat and said, "Bring High Elder Batman a lot of wine, and you'll get to Paladin real quick." There's your answer right there. Awesome. Well, Opie, I'd like to thank you for coming on today, and also just to let you know, for coming today, you will be receiving our game show sign that you will be taking home. So thank you for coming on board, Opie. We appreciate you, bud.
And I appreciate you having me. It is such an honor, and I enjoy every moment that I just spent with you.
I love it. We love you here too, Opie. And that will do it for us today, guys. I'd like to thank our special guest, Opie, for coming in today. Also wanted to reward you once again with that game show neon sign. We'll give it to you just so that you know that you've been the best in the wasteland. So thank you to our listeners for tuning in to The Best There Is, where we bring in guests from all over the wasteland so you don't have to. I'm D-Man Caramel, the best there is. We'll catch you later.